ever saw under the former government.
Question number 8, the Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
My question is to the Minister of Health. Does he believe he has followed the process set out in the State Services Commission document, Board Appointment and Induction Guidelines, in making appointments to health sector entities?
The Honourable Dr David Clark.
Malo e lau mali e ake sea. According to the State Services Guidelines, ministers may appoint or recommend those who, in their opinion, have the appropriate knowledge, skills and experience to assist the entity to achieve its objectives and perform its function. My answer is yes.
To the Minister, how many of the 15 steps recommended by those guidelines were not followed in the appointment of the Honourable Steve Mahari to chair the board of Pharmac?
Mr Speaker, Steve Mahari's appointment followed the standard process for board chairs and was signed off by Cabinet.
How could best practice process have been followed in the appointment of the Honourable Mark Goshi to chair the county's Manukau DHB when the decision to appoint him was made prior to the formal decision to remove Rabin Rabindran and before the recommendation to appoint Mr Goshi was put before the appropriate Cabinet Committee?
Mr Speaker, I reject some of the assertions in that statement, but suffice to say that ministers may appoint or recommend those who have the appropriate knowledge, skills and experience to assist the entity to achieve its objectives and perform its function. When I have good candidates, I'm willing to guide an appointment process that appoints them. And I've appointed dozens of board members since I became the Minister of Health, and I stand by the appointments that I've made.
Right. Minister, do those appropriate skills and attributes include being former ministers of the Labor government?
Speaker, being a Minister of the Crown is a good qualification when it comes to skills and experience pointed to in the Board Appointment and Inductions Guidelines from the State Services. They indicate that skills and experience are very important, so Ministers of the Crown do have qualifications that can be useful for these appointments. As I say, I've made dozens of them, and a few of them have been former Crown ministers.
To the Minister, isn't this just a clear pattern, those appointments, plus those of the Honourable Pete Hodgson, Margaret Wilson, Heather Simpson, of jobs for former Labor ministers and a long-time Labor staffer being offered, without even a basic nod to the very probity to which he claims to subscribe?
Mr Speaker, no.
Question number 9, the Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Malie, my question is